What is up, YouTube? Rino here with episode number 1 of GrandMA2 Theory on YouTube. I am going to be creating this series for people who are looking to make that switch into GrandMA2 from whatever console you are on. I am going to be creating a series with, I don't know how many episodes yet. It could be 50, it could be 20. I'd like to take you guys through the whole setup, startup to finish, of programming a MA2 console and what you might need to know to get a show up and running and on the road. So this is GrandMA2. It is not 3. I don't know a lot about 3 yet. I am learning myself, but I am not an expert. So this guide will be fully based on MA2. And it is completely free. MA2 is free, MA3D is free, and I will hopefully be showing you guys how to use all of those things throughout the journey of this series. So with that being said, we are going to get started here. When you first download MA2 and you open it, this is the blank canvas that you are going to see. To a lot of people, it is very tricky. It could be confusing to find what you're looking for. I would know. I have made this switch and it was awful in the beginning. I was scared. I didn't know how to use MA, and I had some awesome people in my life help me figure it out, and I hope I can do that for you guys. So when we first get started here, this is what we are going to see. It is a blank canvas. I didn't bring anything over from any of my other save files. It is a completely empty MA2 startup screen. This is what you're going to see when you first open it up. So in this video today, I'm just going to be doing patching and groups, the two first things you will need to learn to get into before you can do anything here on MA2. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to need to do is we are going to need to go up here to setup. When you first open MA2 in the setup window, it is where you will be able to find everything you need to customize MA2 to your own liking. Now, MA2 can be done in a million different ways. Don't let any one programmer tell you that their way is the right way, because it's probably not. It's probably just the way they like to do it. I'm going to show you my way, and hopefully you can take my way and do whatever you like with it. And hopefully you can learn from it and be programming out on the road. So to get started, once we have this setup screen open, you're going to see a couple different tabs. You're going to see your show, you're going to see the console tab, you're going to see the admin tab or user tab, and then your network settings. We will go through all of these throughout the course of these videos, but just to start today, we are going to be just looking at the first panel here, and that is our show. And the first thing every show needs is some lights, so that is what we're going to be going over today. Once we have this opened up, we're going to go in here to patch and fixture schedule, and this is where we're going to begin patching our lights in. When you go into a venue for the first time, or you're creating a rig by yourself, this will be the first step. It will be getting some lights in to make people dance and show them what they need to have an amazing show. When it comes to creating these layers, the first thing you're going to want to do is decide whether you want to make these layers different parts of your stage, or just name them by whatever lights you may have. When you're in a small room with not that many lights or fixtures, it's easier to just name the layers after the fixtures. If you only have 3 fixtures in a room with 25 lights, just name the fixtures. It's simple. But if you're on a rig with 2,000 lights, you're going to need to separate things out a little more, maybe help you find what you're looking at. So if you're on a giant rig, you might name something like upstage truss left. And this will be all the lights on that upstage truss left. But for the case of this video and learning today, we are going to start off simple with something like spots. We will be making a layer for our spotlights. This guide will be almost like we're in a small room with only a couple lights, and as it grows we'll add more lights for you guys to understand, but we're going to keep it simple in the beginning. So our first group will be spots. That's what I'm going to add in, and once we click spots, it's going to open up for you guys to see the fixture wizard. So from here, you'll be able to go through the library and set your channel IDs, set your fixture IDs, and set up your lights to begin with. So once we're here in the fixture wizard, you're going to want to go over here to From Library. MA has created a very convenient way for you to find all of your fixtures and everything you need. They have it sorted by manufacturer and fixture, and if it is not here, there are ways to download these fixtures and put them in MA, but we will go over that at another time because that's a little bit more complicated. But for the sake of this video today, I'm going to be using all Elation fixtures. I love Elation. I worked for them for a little bit. They're very middle ground. They can be great, they can be alright, they're affordable, and you will see them a lot while you're on the road. So I'm going to stick with Elation, and because we are doing spots right now, I'm going to type in spots for fixtures. And we're going to come over here and we're going to find which fixtures that we're using for the show. So if I walked into a venue and I got a fixture list and they had, let's say, 10 fuse spots on extended mode, we're going to come down here, we're going to find our fuse spots, we're going to find extended. Over here, if you scroll, you can see the DMX footprint, so that would be the address that they would take up on the universe, so 41 channels on the universe. We'll go with the standard mode, just so we're not blowing up a whole universe with 10 lights. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit import once we found the fixtures we're looking for. From here, we can name the fixtures. I'm going to name them fuse spots, and again, you can select the name by anything really, where the light is located, what it's doing, what type of fixture it is. I'm going to do what type of fixture it is for the sake of the video. So we got fuse spots. Let's say we have 10 fuse spots, so we're going to put that in the quantity, and then we're going to come down to fixture and channel ID. So for fixture and channel ID, there's a lot of different things we can do. The most standard way that you will see in most setups is 1001 or 101 and channel ID 101. You're always going to want the fixture ID and the channel ID to match for the most part, but once you get onto a bigger rig and you have a lot more lights, it will be not the case. Your channel ID and your fixture ID may not line up at that point. So from there, we got our patch break. Since it is the first light we are patching into this system, it's going to be universe 1, address 1, so 1001. I do see a lot of people sometimes that if they are programming on a rig with much more fixtures, they will do something like 10,001, just so they can create a little more room to help them distinguish their channel IDs and their fixture IDs. I like to do it this way better, but we'll keep it simple in the beginning. We'll stick with 101, 101, and then our patch break will be 101. Now, if you're just programming a show or creating a show for the first time and you're not actually running these lights on the rig, you can put 0 in. It will allow you to not have as much confusion, and everything will just be zeroed out, so you can go in and put the addresses in later. But for the sake of everything going on, we are going to patch it in at universe 1, address number 1 for our first few spots. So we're going to hit apply, and here we go. We have everything in here. We have all 10 lights on our first layer of spots. So if you scroll over, you can see your patch right here. They're all on universe 1. Our first one is address 1, 32, 63, 94, and all the way down. So our last light would be 280 on the address. So now that we got our 10 spots, what I'm going to do is I'm going to patch in 10 wash lights. So we're going to go here, we're going to add another layer. Over here where it says layer name, we're going to create washes. And we are going to go to our library again. I'm going to stick with Elation just for the sake of everything to make it a little bit easier, and we are going to get some fuse washes. We will keep it the same as what we have for our spots. We'll go with washes, fuse wash, and I'm going to take these standard 29 channel fuse washes. I'm going to rename them fuse wash, and I'm going to select my quantity, which will also be 10. And for your fixture ID and channel ID, we don't want it to be the same. If you didn't select anything, it would come in at 111 right behind your last 10 lights. But to help us figure out where everything is at, it's a new group of fixtures. We are going to do 201 and 201. And it's the same case for the patch break here. Everything comes in right behind where you finished on your last lights. But to help everyone understand a little bit better, I'm going to do universe 2, address number 1. So our next 10 fuse washes will be on their own universe, starting at address number 1, fixture ID 201, channel ID 201. We're going to hit please and apply. So we have both of our set of fixtures in here. We have our spots and our washes. I'm going to go ahead and grab one last set of fixtures just to help us understand and show you guys one more time. We're going to go here, we're going to hit add layer, we're going to add in the most important fixture there is, and it's going to be our blinders. Boom. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our blinders. We're going to have to go to the library. We're going to stick with elation for this whole video. I'll use all elation lights. It'll just be easier. And I'm going to come to blinders. Alright, we are going to do the 2-channel Q-Pix blinders. You are going to see these lights everywhere if you're on the road. They're super popular blinders. Just seem to be a little bit like industry standard at this point. So Q-Pix blinders, we're going to get those in here. We are going to label them blinders. We are going to have 10. We are going to start them at 301 because it's a new group of lights, so the third group, channel ID 301 as well. And we're going to do the same thing for the universe. So universe 3, third set, 001, address number 1. So you'll go up to your first blinder and it will be addressed number 1 on universe 3. Please and apply. Sweet. So we have our spots, we have our washes, and we now have our blinders. 3 sets of lights, and they are all different layers that I have set up here. Now, if you wanted to, and you wanted to create something like add layer, downstage truss, and your truss has 3 sets of lights on it, you can go in and add all 3 sets of lights, the fixture ID, the channel ID, and you can actually add them together as one layer and have, let's say, the downstage truss with all 3 of those lights, and you'd be able to select that layer and have all of those lights. But that's more or less for a larger style rig where you're going to have a bunch of lights anyways. So for the case of this, we got our 3 different layers with our 3 different lights. Once you have those, the first thing you're going to want to do is come over here and select this X, and then we're going to want to hit yes. So right now we have 1 warning. That means that something along the patch line is on top of each other. So if we open the diagnostic, it's showing here that this new layer I created does not have any fixtures on it. That's our 1 warning. That's fine. That's not going to change anything. We're going to hit update. Now if you go to save and you have 15 diagnostic reports that are failing, you're going to have to go in and figure out exactly what the issue is. Now if there's an issue with the patch, it will actually zero out the patch and just put a line. So you'd have to sort through these and say, hey, let's say number 8 on my fuse spots is a line. That means somewhere else in here there are DMX addresses clashing. But because we started a new universe for each set of lights, there's going to be no issues. So once we have that, we're going to want to hit X, and we're going to want to hit yes to save it. If you hit no, or you just close out of that and do not save, you are going to have a bad day because your fixtures will no longer be there, and you're going to have to go repatch them all in again. I've done that before. It's not fun. So Now that we have everything patched in, what we're going to need to do is come here to our first window. We're going to go over here and we are going to left click and create a group of sheets fixtures. So I will now be able to see all of the fixtures that we have patched into our show. They're all here. We got our 10 blinders, our 10 washes, and our 10 spots. We're going to come here, we're going to make another view screen, and we are going to come to pools and come to groups. So we got all our lights patched in. Now it's time to create some groups so we can start working on these lights. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make a group for our fuses, our fuse spots. So I'm going to click 101, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to shift click 110. This will give me all 10 lights. They've turned yellow, that means that those lights are selected. From there, I'm going to hit store, and I'm going to store them to group number 1. This will be my first group in my show. Now, if I want to change this name and I don't want Fuse SSTD, which most people will not, I'm going to clear out. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click assign twice. 1, 2. Down here you will see where it says label. I'm going to click this and I will be able to now label these fuse spots. Awesome. So I have my first group in the show. I'm going to clear. Now when I clicked all of my lights at once and click fuse spots, they will all be highlighted again and all selected, and I can start making changes to my fuse spots. So we're going to do the same thing with our wash lights. We're going to come down where it's going to start here at 201, click the first light, go down to 210, I'm going to shift click, hit store, hit clear it out, assign, label, fuse, wash, clear. So now when I select my washes, all 10 of my fuse washes will now be selected. And last but not least, we have our blinders. I'm going to store these, assign, label group 3. We are going to label this one blinders. Awesome. Now when I select blinders, all of them are selected. So from here, what I also like to do is if you now select all 3 groups, they will all turn yellow. You will notice that all of my groups are selected. And if I come here and I hit store, group 4, clear, group 4 will now select all of my lights in the show. Now you notice here that the first blinder is not selected. I must have skipped that one. I'm going to clear, select this first one, shift. Now I'm going to restore it over my blinders, and I want to overwrite. I do not want to merge, I want to overwrite and take away what was stored originally. Clear, blinders, and now we have everything. So another popular thing that you will see throughout your programming that will make things easier is to do things like grabbing all of the odd fixtures. So we'll do the spots. And I'm going to store, assign, odd spots. So now while I'm programming, if I want to make a counter movement or a movement that is going against something, I will be able to come in and grab these odd ones of the spots, and we'll go clear. We're going to make an even one as well, so click store, clear, assign, even spots. Now if you notice, when I click both of them, all 3 of them light up because everything is now activated, but I will essentially be able to program on my even spots, clear this out, program on my odd spots, and have counter movements going on throughout the show. So that is it for groups. that is it for patching. If you guys have any more questions about either of these topics, feel free to go down into the comments and let me know. Our next video, I will be putting everything into MA3D, helping you guys set up a little network so that everything is talking, and we can get some lights flashing and get the ball rolling on showing everything in the visualizer. So, thank you for tuning in. This is video number 1 of GrandMA2 theory, and I look forward to seeing you guys for video number 2. Peace.